Slaughter to Prevail. Brutal name, brutal logo, but how does the album fare? Let's take a listen. Hey fellow listeners, I hope you've been working out and taking your protein, because today we have a pretty heavy album. We are reviewing the debut full-length album by Slaughter to Prevail, a deathcore band out of Russia. This one is called Misery Sermon. So like I said, these guys are a pretty new band. They had an EP come out in 2015, I believe it was. So this is a brand new band. I haven't really checked them out yet, didn't listen to the EP. And I guess they have members from both Russia and the UK. When I first started researching the band, I started seeing a bunch of stuff about the lead singer being a neo-Nazi and all of this racist stuff, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And there was a specific article that I found that really went deep into it, and a lot of this stemmed from some of the tattoos he has, including one on his elbow, and I believe it actually led to them having to cancel a tour at the time of these accusations. However, I did want to get both sides of the story, so I dug a little bit deeper, and there was a response from the singer himself on the Slaughter to Prevail Facebook page back in like November of 2015, basically saying that these allegations are not true. He even went to the extent of getting that tattoo covered up. So yeah, a lot of controversy around that, which might be interesting for some people who aren't quite familiar with this band like I wasn't. And I guess in a way I'm glad to hear that those rumors weren't true. Anyway, back to the album. It's 11 tracks long and it runs about 44 minutes. This isn't going to be a track-by-track review like I've been doing, just because that's what I'm feeling with this one. For a debut deathcore album, this isn't really anything revolutionary. I wouldn't say I was impressed a whole lot, but I wouldn't call it bad either. It definitely shines in some places. Of course, you get your typical blast beats and down-tuned guitars with down-tempo breakdowns. One thing I will note is that I'm really into the album art right now, that really creepy mask on the front, and they wear those live and stuff like that, so you know, giving off that creepy vibe, I'm a little bit into it. The band tries some gang vocals on the album, and I shouldn't say try, they do gang vocals on the album, and I think that it works really well. I will admit that even as a heavy music fan, sometimes deathcore specifically gets a little too repetitive for me, but there are definitely still times that shine in the musicality of the genre. And a lot of those elements are present in the song Born to Die. There's a juicy guitar solo, and the rhythm of the screaming that lead up to the breakdown towards the end really gets me pumped up. The best guitar solo, though, shows up in the song Malice of Rights. Super fast and impressive solo there. Otherwise, throughout the album, they use the typical eerie and creepy sounding guitar lead lines that just kind of give out this sullen atmosphere. The song King was released with the music video, which is one that people may have heard already. It gets super brutal, and it might be my favorite track on the album. I love the breakdown that happens like exactly in the middle of the song, and then it gets kind of slower, making you kind of think that we might be at the end of it. Before slapping us in the face again with some more blast beats as they destroy our eardrums with that epic ending of the song. For those unfamiliar with deathcore, you can hardly understand what's being screamed, even when you have a lyric sheet handy. Well, Slaughter to Prevail thought they would make it a little extra hard for us Americans. Most of the album is in Russian. That's right, they're screaming in Russian. And it's kind of unfortunate because I obviously don't speak Russian, and I'm not going to go in and translate every single line of this album. But I can't really give the guys too much flack because, I mean, they're Russian. I can't just force them to scream in English like some out-of-control tyrant. So the opening track, Misery Sermon, is all in English. So the first song to feature a bunch of Russian lyrics is called Russian Hate. I'm not sure what he's speaking about for the most part, but there are some English lyrics towards the end where he says, "In my life, it's better to kill than to fucking die. This is our fucking Russian hate." So I'm guessing the rest of the song isn't about rainbows and dandelions. I also enjoyed the little synth line that they use in Malice of Rights. They did throw an instrumental track in this one. Below is the shortest track on the album, but I think that they do a really good job of projecting this range of emotions with just the instrumentation in that one, which I found to be pretty awesome. There are these weird vocals that are used in the songs Failed Hope and 666, where he tries something a little bit different, almost like he's trying to add melody to his death growls, and it sounds pretty bad, almost like a really bad Arnold Schwarzenegger impression. We leave this album with one of the slowest yet heaviest sections of the whole record, as we're bombarded by this super brutal breakdown there at the end of Cultural Ills. Okay, so we're at the end here. I know that was a short review, but this album wasn't too diverse in my mind, and it wasn't at a level where I thought it required a track-by-track analysis or a super long overview of the album. I don't think this album was too impressive, especially when put up against the heavier albums I've already reviewed this year, like Boris the Blade and Within the Ruins albums. It's good to throw on if you need to let off some steam or pump some iron. I certainly listened to it while I was working out, and it definitely kept me going. The album definitely does not lack in the brutal, angry, aggressive feelings. Funnily enough, I think that the fact that the lyrics are in Russian kind of add to that ominous feeling throughout it. At least from someone who doesn't speak the language, just because you don't really know what's being said. I would say this album is fun to listen to like once or twice. I probably won't be revisiting it. And if I had to choose a favorite or two, I might pick Misery Sermon or King. Again, these guys aren't that big, so I thought I'd give them a shot. But let me know what you guys think of the album in the comments below. I've read on the internet a lot of people were pretty stoked about this album, so I want to know how the turnout was for that. And if you missed it, last week I reviewed Motionless in White's album and Kingdom of Giants albums, both really good reviews. And my 100 sub announcement is in Kingdom of Giants, which it might be too late for you to jump in on what's happening there, but pretty soon I'm going to reveal the winner of my 100 sub contest, essentially. So check those out. Those will be at the end of this video, and check out the links in the description below. I'll be linking to all my social media, to some t-shirts you can buy, and yeah, that's about it. So thanks for checking out the review. Hope you guys liked it, and rock on.